Hello, welcome back to New Meta Podcasts, episode 195. There were rumours swirling around on the web that the podcast was dead, and we're here in the flesh to prove that they're wrong. For now, but like we said, 195. So I feel like I'm gonna make it to 200 before there's any sort of like hospice care retirement home for the podcast. But anyway. Marco and Adam join me as always. Marco, welcome to the pod. How you doing?
Great to be back recording. Nice to do. Yeah, all good.
Nice. It's been how long has it been? Do we know? When was the last pod?
Well,
it was halfway through TI, right? It was like the post group stage TI pod. That was like 2 months. That was October, wasn't it? Actually. Couple months.
I'm scrolling up the Discord looking for an @everyone.
Couple months, I reckon.
That'd be October 28th.
God, less than 2 months.
2 months. Yeah, less than 2 months.
Crazy. We've not even been gone. Adam, how you doing? Welcome back.
I'm good. Stories of our demise were greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot has happened in the last month and a half, and by that I mean TI happened and then not a lot has happened. There's been patches, there's been lots of games, there's been stuff. No real structure today other than just talk about games, talk about fun stuff, talk about heroes that are good, items that are good, strats that are good or bad. But yeah, congratulations to who won TI?
North America.
That's how long it's
North
been.
America.
Oh, Tundra Esports. Remember that team that won TI? That was pretty good.
Yes, Tundra Esports, the North American bastion.
Snaking God. Snaking Marana.
Owie the two-time. Snaking wins a major and a TI before RTZ. Just how we all wrote it up.
Yeah, of course. Marco, do you have any comments on TI, or is it just so far away that you're just like, yeah, I can't remember. I just remember it was a 3-0 final. It's kind of boring.
I mean, it was interesting. It was disappointing from a viewer perspective. I thought I had after was if EG were Tundra and won the grand final 3-0 in a snooze fest, would I say it was the greatest TI final of all time? This is my question.
No, because it'd be TI5 when the EG won 3-1 with the $1 million Echo Slam.
And that's exciting, without a doubt. But the way that Tundra won this one, I am a lover of the strategy, macro play. That's all cool, but it did just feel like, this is a stomp. You've outdrafted every game. You've built Wraith Packs every game. Gratz 33, great player. Yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously salty.
It was a TI4 Death Ball snooze fest meta, but instead of Death Ball, it was damage glyphs. Reduction.
Yeah, it was the exact same thing, but glyphs delayed the game 20 minutes. That's harsh. I mean, I'm just super negative. Like the tournament, obviously great fun. Always maybe I need to rewatch those games in full. It was fun to watch them with Joe and Stan. And I think Adam, you joined us on some of those grand final games, and
I had already watched them.
Yeah, but you watched them already.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of the time difference. The time difference made it very hard to watch.
Yeah.
Live, so wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, I think you guys are pretty harsh. I mean, it's easy to say it's an outdraft because it's like I feel like every Dota game is like an outdraft. I feel like you could say like pretty much every win's an outdraft. It's like Tundra just better at have a better understanding of the game, so they draft better heroes because they have a better understanding of the game. That's like so much of pro Dota.
Roped in. I don't want to get roped in with Marco's negativity. I didn't say anything.
I feel like Marco calls 90% of Dota games an outdraft. And maybe that's accurate. Maybe 90% of games are an outdraft.
I love an outplay. I love having the worst draft and winning.
But you always say games are outdrafts, I swear, like every time you review PO games.
Nah. If we review our pub games?
Not a pub game. Pubs doesn't...
Pro games.
Pubs
Okay, no.
irrelevant,
Yeah, pro games. I mean, if Arbor plays Storm, that's not an outdraft, it's just outplayed. Or if Crit does some plays, that's an outplay, it's not outdraft. But in this case, I mean, game 1, a bloody Herald could tell you that you can't have all your damage source be magic and expect to win and beat a Wraith Pack, Pipe, and BKBs. Probably don't even have BKBs, but Lesh, Pudge, Cause, come on. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's great drafting. I do think Crystallis was a weak link, a secret, hence why he's been kicked, right? I think he's been kicked.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Probably want to double check that.
Let's just double check. So.
But yeah.
No, he's there and Nisha left.
Oh, Nisha went to Liquid
Nisha
or something.
Left. Okay.
Something like that. It's an interesting one. Yeah, the games, like, Tundra are just on another level. Like, we already talked about it halfway through TI. Tundra just, like, had the meta down, just like to a T. And they also have, like, it was like a Dream 33 meta where, like, they can just put him on Tide or, like, Visage or something, and he'll just build Wraith Pack first. And he'll be, like, they'll engineer the lanes really, really well. So they get him in some, like, Tide lane where he's, like, kind of chilling by himself, and then Snaking can just, like, do whatever he wants or just, like, go for a cup of tea. And then they'll win anyway. And then eventually they have Skitter on, like, Arc / Naga / I guess they didn't have him on Arc in game 2, actually. That was, like... But they had an Arc on whoever it was, 9 / Medusa. And it's a bit like, yeah.
All that needs to be stated is that Snaking went 7-0 on support Mirana 5. And I'm not even sure anyone else played it at the tournament.
Yeah, that...
Like, picked Mirana at all, and then he plays Mirana in a position she's never played. I mean, 4 Mirana, that happens, but 5 Mirana, that's like, I don't know, super stressful. But they made it so easy. They had so many combos. It's like the easiest arrows of your life. And
it's interesting.
He played really well with the leap, and it was just like, damn. He's going to grief all the pubs now because a bunch of 5 Miranas are going to happen.
It's an interesting one because this is Snaking's TI. This is Snaking's TI on the main stage. Mirana, CM, which he lost, Mirana. All the Mirana games are win, by the way. So it's win on Mirana, 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 loss on CM, win on Mirana. Win on Mirana, win on Phoenix, win on Mirana. That's his upper bracket. So it's weird that, like, teams never banned it. Because it's like, they literally pick it every single game. Is it just that it's like, it's not actually that important?
Yeah. They were in the perfect spot. It's like TI3 Alliance or even EG TI5. 33's heroes had to be banned. Yeah. And it gives you that advantage in the drafting so hard where it's like, okay, we've got 3 S tier heroes, choose 2 which you don't want to play against. And you could even say 4, add Mirana to the list, but yeah, obviously teams thought the POS 5 can't be the high priority ban. And I agree, even if they were to argue Moonlight Shadow is broken and as a 5 it enables your strategy and gameplay. I mean,
it's just detection
Moonlight
tax.
Shadow. Yeah, it's like it's a tax. I don't think Moonlight Shadow is an S tier ban as a singular spell. I think Ice Frog would agree. So it's like, your Mirana's going to get
He had some
through.
good arrows. I mean, so that was big.
Plays the lane well, like on Mirana, does well on the lane, and also they have
super
33
great
on like
later. And everyone talked about how the lanes were super important to win. So
yeah, but yeah, the ban was Doom Brood at all 3 games from Secret, so they just didn't want to play against Doom Brood.
Yeah, and it was like they didn't have outside Lesh, which they funnily enough played 3 games in a row. And prior to the grand final, Lesh had seen success on Secret in be it Nisha, be it Rezo. I think even Liquid had success on Lesh, Mickey. But outside that, it didn't really feel like any other team had a really strong strategy.
Well, they just super damage reduction against the Lesh. You're like, okay, pick Lesh. Yeah. We'll just go Pipe, Wraith Pact.
full negation.
And Pipe Bravepact and Maid Slayer.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, you do no damage at all.
Because there was a point in that first game where they get like some 3-man black hole or like massive Lesh Sun with like Pudge and Lesh right on top of all of them, and like you're like, oh my god, they're gonna get like full wipe, and then no one takes any damage. And you're like, okay, cool. just
walk away.
Just walk away, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we're playing Naga against Enigma Lesh, like 2 of the hardest counters to it. But actually, it doesn't matter because you just have this 2-0 damage. Tundra's boring, TI's boring. What really matters is our pub games. That's what all of the listeners have been missing, is us complaining about Invokers and Pangoliers that are largely irrelevant in TI, but are plaguing our pubs indefinitely. Marco, how would you characterise the last month of Dota? Or indeed, you can focus in on the last week if you want.
Quite active month, to be honest. I've got up Dota buff last 4 weeks. I've had a stint of ranked. God, maybe over a month ago. I basically hit new all-time high MMR with a couple double down wins, which was pretty pog. And then in the last 2 days, been off work, now on holiday, and got in some rank sesh. Went 0-4, with 2 of those being double down losses, so effectively 0-6. And then brought it back with a 2-1 but a double down win to make it 3-1. So I think I'm net -4, which isn't catastrophic. Could be.
It's a good time of the year when you come out from your break, check your phone, and see a stream of consciousness from Marco, just like narrating what has happened over the past 3 hours. He's like, I'm going back in.
Thank God I went back. So I had this. So this morning, I was 0-4. Was I 0? I can't remember. Anyway, I had this double down loss on Jakiro, 53-minute game. Like, oh man, we could have won. We had a Bat Rider doing bits. Pudge was doing hooks. Pudge was doing really well, really strong. But the enemy had this Ursa, man. What a basic hero. Just Ursa with a nullifier BKB and just jumping on your Pudge and your Tide. And we've got loads of disables, but it doesn't last any time. And and then there's a Tinker in the back. And man, grueling 53-minute double down loss. Next game, I'm like, I don't want to double down because I've got a mid Rubik and it's making me nervous. Turns out they have a mid Techies on the other team who gets mega stomped by Rubik, and Rubik then stomps the game. And it's one of those classic, is Rubik going to pop or is Rubik going to flop? And it was a big time pop. And then the third game I did double down, which was Jakiro, and it was a 16-minute win. Me and another guy doubled down that game, which was nice. We had Tusk, Pango, Pure Aggression, Slark. Someone chatted, the POS 1 is dog. And I was like, yeah, let's fucking go. Let's go double down. Someone's verified him to be a bad player, and we ended up steamrolling that game. So it's been, quite active, ranked. Some good games, I guess. Hell of a lot of Jakiro. Couple CM. Yeah, it's been alright.
Cool. What about you, Adam? What's been going on?
Just played a lot of Dota. That's, I think,
Holiday
the big
season.
change over the last 2 months is I have liked the game.
That's good.
I think the last time we were talking, I was not very happy with Dota. I was like, do I need to stop playing? But I like the game again.
There was talk of hanging up the keyboard.
Yeah, but I've been playing a lot, and no ranked. I'm not a madman, but
we beat Action Slice yesterday, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that was a good game to mention. We ruined his Sunday afternoon. It was fun to go back and watch the game after, and see oh man, he was descending into madness. He was getting madder and madder, and then apparently. Well, then he avoided 2 of his teammates after the game. And then into his next game, apparently, he was also just immediately, very snippy. Like we ruined his afternoon.
Yeah, that was so funny.
That I was Jakiro that game, so like Marco, the Jakiro runs deep.
What happened? I want to ask about that game because you like actually ruffled bots. So I haven't seen a lane be like ruffled that hard for so long. You were Tree Jakiro versus what, Ricky Spectre?
Yeah,
and it was just like
5 Ricky.
Yeah, so Tree kind of just had an insane game, basically.
Yeah, you'll have to ask Mind Flayer. Like this guy I play with, he is on this Treant kick.
Yeah.
This Treant 3 kick and he's like maxing the W. He got like an 8-minute Meteor Hammer. The first couple of levels weren't too great, but then once we had a few spells, we raffled it. It was like an 8-minute Meteor Hammer. We take the tier 1, and we took the tier 2 at 11 minutes, which should never happen.
Yeah.
But then that was, I think, maybe my favorite moment, like going back and watching. Like they just didn't care that they were losing to tier 2.
Yeah.
He was already checked out of the game. Like he's like, "Oh, I'm not coming down there. I'm not going to ruin my game because you guys have lost bottom so bad. We just get a tier 2 and an outpost."
Yeah, that was
at 11.
It's funny because back in the day, you used to see tier 2s go down earlier, but now with like the lanes and people being better at the game and glyphs and stuff,
you get a free glyph, so
you never see it anymore. It's been so long since I've seen a tier 2 go down like that early.
Towers have been getting buffed, I feel, in the last
true.
3-6 months.
Yeah.
It's harder.
So yeah, I was like, wow, tier 2's down already. That's wild. My favourite moment in that game was when I liked it at the start where Slack was like, "Is this Drow gonna walk up this high ground?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm coming." And then I just get bopped, and I had to TP to the lane, and he was flaming me for that. He's like, thinks he's good, TPing to the lane. Now he's just gonna die, and I did die.
And they talked about your gust. You died to one zombie. That wasn't.
I didn't, and also I died because I miscontrolled my hero, so I wanted to run away, and I just clicked on the wrong part of the map, so my hero went to turn around, and that was enough for the zombie to latch onto me, kill me. So that was really annoying. But yeah, the gust, that was the highlight. Everyone loved the gust.
The only other game that I can remember was, because I'm trying to do the cavern, right? I finished the cavern both sides for Crystal Maiden, so now I'm still cavern gaming, but I get to play other positions other than support. And the four Huskar game was my favorite.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That I've played recently because I enjoy playing off kilter things. That was very off kilter. I got 20 kills. That's more kills than I get ever on any. Like I play. Like I'm looking at my games. It's like 6, 7, 3, 2, 10, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 9. No, I have games with like 39 or something. But I mean, it takes like probably 8 games for me to add up to 20 kills normally, because I don't, I don't steal. But it was fun. There was 4 Huskar, 3 Darkseer played by Stan against a Bloodseeker and a Bane. And we just walked up, and I just kept spear chucking. It was like, here's a flaming spear. Here's a flaming spear.
It's a really nice combo with the Darkseer, at least in like pubs, because Huskar with Surge is so deadly, because the only thing that stops Huskar just killing anyone in a trade is like them running away before you stack up Burning Spear too much. And they can't do that when you get Surge. And on top of that, the Iron Shell means that like they can never trade. Like this Bloodseeker wants to heal on creep waves and stuff, and there's like no way he can ever do that without like just getting bopped by either Iron Shell or a Huskar, and it's so difficult for them to play the lane, and they think they can man up. Like there was a time where we go on them and we're sort of diving tower, we're both really low, and we kill the Bane. And then there's like this 3/4 HP Bloodseeker trying to kill you and me, who are both like, you're like 5% HP and I'm like 10% HP. But you've got Burning Spear, I've got an Iron Shell on me, and you've got an Iron Shell on me. And like, he can't even man up against like, you know, you just think like it's the easiest kill ever, and suddenly he just melts to like Burning Spear and 2 Iron Shells.
Plus the Berserker Blood regen.
Yeah.
It's such a bait for him to like try and come in, and then once I was level 4, I had the Q? Is that Inner Fire?
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, now you're disarmed. Oh, you want to try and trade with me and hit me? Oh, I push you away and you can't trade with me. He just like died over and over and over again.
Also,
and then you get the Ags.
Oh yeah, that's what you transition into, and then you got a crazy disable as well. Darkseer has such a big power spike at level 2. So I played a fair bit of Darkseer recently. I think I played 4 games, one of which was POS 1, the others have been POS 3. Although, having said that, the POS 1 kind of was like POS 3 from POS 1. It was just basically, I just played it in the safe lane, whatever you want to call that. But the level 2 spike has netted me a kill in like 3 out of the 4 games, I'm pretty sure. You're so strong with Vacuum level 1. You slap Iron Shell on you, and you slap Iron Shell on either the creep wave or your laning partner, and then you ding level 2, or you just are level 2, Vacuum, nice radius even at level 1, easily enough to pull someone back from the creep wave like onto your double Iron Shell, and then you basically need like one spell from your opponent.
It's the crystal mated thing where they don't expect you to have both your spells at level 2. Like, a lot of people still expect you to, I don't know, be bad and skill the aura. So all of a sudden you're like, whoa, 2 spells. And I think everyone expects the Darkseer to get Surge and not be like, oh, I can get Vacuum back into double Ion Shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is real good, yeah. It's real good.
The best defense is a good offense.
Indeed.
Yeah, there you go. In terms of my games then, I mentioned some of the Darkseer games. I'd also mentioned that I played my first Meepo in months, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, and the game went 57 minutes. Adam was in this one, but it shouldn't have gone. That was pretty
epic.
Should not have gone 57 minutes. In the first instance, it shouldn't have gone 57 minutes because it's been so long since I played the Meepo that I basically just miscontrolled it all the time. Like, I'd try and do a blink poof, and I'd like poof 2 of my Meepos rather than 3 of them. Or I'd like try and hex. There was a fight when we were really far ahead, and I was like trying to use hex the entire fight, and I ended up just like utterly failing to control like any Meepo. I had like 1 Meepo across the map, 1 Meepo just attacking like neutrals. My main Meepo with hex that I was trying to use, I was controlling not that one. I was like controlling my courier or something. It was just an absolute shambles. And this is when I'm at like peak strength, like 6k ahead of the game, because up until that point I'd had like such a good game. And this game drags massively. We go for some like massive throne attack. It's like disorientated, and I die, buy back, go to TP, but we haven't taken the outpost because we're bad, and then I like don't buy travels because I don't have enough. I've got like 1.8k or something, and then it's just like all in on the throne, fail, game drags. Oh, it was just like got over the line in the end, but it was like such a horrible game.
We did say, we were like, hit throne, and then our drow wasn't hitting throne. And,
I don't know.
Well, how could we not have killed the throne? It's like, because we weren't all hitting it.
But
then, also, my impression of you that game was like, why isn't my hero moving?
Yeah.
Why isn't my hero doing what I'm telling? Like,
that's such a classic Stan voice line.
Yeah, you're just like, why isn't my hero doing what I'm telling it to?
In my mind, yeah.
It seemed like you were. I swear, at some points, your 4 Meepos were like move commanded on the enemy hero and not attacking him. It was like all this like following him, just like, oh, look at these Meepos. And then you did get dig though, and I think that is what won the game.
Yeah, that was game winning. The Ags on Meepo genuinely is so strong because they had a Wind Ranger with like Ags Daedalus or something like low. Basically had blink, focused fire, a blink shackle focused fire with like crazy damage and invisible permanently, and also really, really fast from Winram. And that basically would condition a kill on one of my Meepos with BKB. I can't hex her, I can't net her. So that I was dying to that, but when you can just dig all your Meepos and they become invulnerable and heal for like whatever 50% of their HP, suddenly BKB's gone, suddenly everything's gone, and it was so game winning. And I should have got it way earlier. I went Treads, Dragon Lance, Blink, Hex, Scardy, Heart, Ags, and I should have just gone. I probably should have just. Hex probably was really good in this game, actually. I probably should have just gone Blink, Hex, Dig, honestly, or maybe Blink, Hex, Scardy, Dig. Because having that tool in the fight to just, what a reset. They have to commit so hard and you just do that. It was, that was pretty game winning.
That was pretty great. And then you hit level 25 and you're like, I guess, I don't know what pack rat is, so I'll just get the extra Meepo. And that was especially funny because you didn't rebind your Meepo, like the new one. And we were all like,
just sitting there.
Stan, your Meepo, it's in the top lane, please move it.
Oh, God.
And then we found out pack rat meant you could put a real item in your neutral slot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that what it is? So it's like
you get another slot,
good.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, basically a free Scotty slot or something.
Yep.
The 7 slot. Yeah.
Which is probably better than an extra Meepo, probably. I'm not sure, actually. It is an interesting one.
I mean, it was fine.
Some of the neutrals are pretty good. Like even just a Vambrace. It's pretty good. It's not like you're getting a Scardy for free.
Right.
It's like you're choosing...
It's a supreme late game, like level 30 thing, maybe.
Yeah, you're choosing to have a Scardy over, like, 10 main attribute and 5 other attribute, if it's a Vambrace, for example.
It was just fun watching you skill the extra Meepo, he pops up, and then you walk the other ones all into the Roche pit, and we're like, Stan, please move, like, poof this Meepo over here.
Yeah. But yeah, good game. Got the Meepo win in, that's what matters. And it was like the dream Meepo game as well. Like all of the heroes are like kind of bad against me, so it would have been bad. I might have had to retire the Meepo if we didn't win that one.
I do have one other moment I forgot about. Something that never happens. But I got to live the dream as Crystal Maiden. Because I never buy the shard.
Oh yeah.
But for some reason I was like, I'll get the shard this game. It seems good for whatever reason. And then I got a haste rune. And so I had the shard and the haste rune, and it was another 3 treant game, and he gets this epic, like 3 or 4 man. What's the ulti called? The tree ult. And I just
overgrowth,
he overgrowths, and I just like beep through hasted move speed with my ult going, just like running around in a circle around everybody, and they all explode. And then they say GG and the throne explodes. Like, they were a 5-stack, they're like, just gave up. They're just like, it's over.
Yeah.
And I was so sad. But
that is the dream.
It was like, I pick up the rune and I'm like, I see the fight about to happen. I'm like, guys, it's happening. I get to do it. I've never got to do this before. And no one knew what I was like talking about. And I just come through hasted. Yeah. It's the little things. Now it makes me want to try and do that, like, always. But I know when does the Crystal Maiden ever get a haste rune? Or a shard? Pretty much never.
Should we talk about what's good? What's good and what's bad? One thing I want to mention, just straight up, is Ricky 4 is
That's what I was going to say.
Really good and really broken. I mean, the things at the moment are like Ricky 4 every game, Razor in loads of games, although I feel like it's kind of peaked, hasn't it? Yeah, Viper in a lot of games.
I think it switched to Razor. Razor switched to Viper. They're doing a similar kind of play style and builds, but I don't see Razor, I see Viper.
I played against the Viper Bloodstone yesterday, and he had a terrible start, so he like never got going. But like the potential was there for sure. If he wasn't like 2-15 in the game against a PA that just like blew him up before you could heal. It's definitely like a lot of heal from the Bloodstone. I think Bloodstone's super busted.
Yeah, it's gone from like Lesh only to now being like, oh wait, actually it's really good on this hero and it's really good on this hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need like damage instances, and I think Viper and Razor really excel at that. Like multiple sources of damage instances.
Yeah, for sure. This Ricky Pos 4 is also like kind of nuts, right? It's like 55% win rate in Immortal, which is very high. And it's basically just Sleeping Dark City, which is something that we actually... I swear we were hyping up Sleeping Dark. I swear we've been hyping up for so long.
Yeah.
I swear like...
It got nerfed.
Oh, and then it got buffed. Like it got...
Must have gotten rebuffed.
Yeah, because I remember when this first came out, I was thinking this is like the most nut spell ever. Because when it first came out, you couldn't even... There was like no counterplay. You couldn't like Lotus someone out of it. They were like OD Astral equivalent. They were like off map. Now that's not the case. But the spell is still absolutely bonkers. It's, what is it, 3 seconds? Something like that? And you can like combo out of it. Like you can stun someone that's in this thing. There's a wake up damage, and obviously you just smoke on top of them, do whatever you want on top of them, and your laning's okay because Blink Strike slows, so you actually contribute, right? You do some bonus damage, you can throw out a random Q if you want, and you've got a little escape with an E with your Tricks of the Trade. And then as soon as 15 minutes comes around, you're going to be invis, and you're going to be crazy good scouter, and you're going to be throwing a sleeping dart on anyone that tries to go on you, or indeed anyone that you see, providing insane vision and insane setup.
It's a 3 second sleep with a 4 second slow once they wake up. So it's a 30% move speed slow, which you got to think. You dart somebody, you waddle over to them, you put a cloud underneath them. Mm-hmm. Then they're just like, okay, now I can't use any of my spells. They're going to waddle out of that, but they're slowed by 30%. Yeah. That's before you do any blink strikes, or if you do a diffusal. I don't know if that's good, but like when I did Ricky, I basically just saved up for the shard and then went into Octarine Core.
Yeah.
Octarine Core is probably a luxury, but you definitely want the Aether Lens, because then you end up with like a longer than blink sleeping dart. Just wreaks such havoc in a fight. And I like the Octarine Core because then I believe your cloud is on a 5.4 second cooldown if you get the cloud production talent and then also an Octarine Core. And you have a 9 second sleeping dart. So it's absurd the amount of disruption in a fight.
I mean, it's like permanent smokescreen, right? 6 second duration and like basically 6 second cooldown.
Yeah. Perma smokescreen, really low downtime on your dart. A lot of heroes like to use their spells. So the cloud is insane. Sleeper Dart is like a way better nightmare, Bane Nightmare, and then like, I don't know, just the amount of like smokescreen, it hits everything. It's like, oh, are you a spellcaster and like to use your spells? Oh, you are silenced. Oh, you're a right clicker and you don't care, but you want to hit people. Well, there's a 75% miss chance in this cloud, so can't do that either.
You have to buy, and I discovered this when I tried to play Magnus against Ricky. You have to buy BKB if you're like a melee range hero in Dota and you're against a Ricky. You have to buy BKB because this smokescreen means it's like you're like doomed. You can't. All you can do is use your item. So like either you force out, in which case you're like relying on one of your teammates to force you against. You know, you're wasting a 4-staff in response to like a 6 second CD spell. That's ultra spammable, and you're like repositioning yourself in a weird way closer to your teammates, or you buy BKB right on your core, or else you're never going to be able to cast a spell. How on earth can you access a fight on like a Doom or like a Magnus or like an Elsie or an Enigma, any of these like big disruptive heroes, Tidehunter, how can you access a fight with like that hefty of a radius? I mean, it's not a huge radius, but it's enough that like you can't RP.
Well, you get a talent at 10.
Yeah.
So it becomes 120 bigger in diameter.
So it's pretty big, and it's for 6 seconds. You there's like no play against that, and obviously like Lotus doesn't work because you're not. It's a debuff that's like on the floor as opposed to your hero. So it seems like really good value, really really good value, and it has the annoyance factor of tricks of the trade. Like, just you're trying to go on a Ricky and they just tricks of the trade themselves. And sure, you can kill them when you get out, but sometimes you don't have that luxury in a team fight. So there's all sorts of annoying stuff. Blink Strike as well obviously makes them more elusive. And invisibility means invincibility. So all these problems.
1,000 cast range seems a little insane. Because like you say, that's like more than it's like a pseudo hex but better with the cast range. Silly small cooldown. It's not even like the mana's expensive. 75 mana. That's spammable for this game. It's like when we played with this random Pos 4 Ricky when we were a 4-stack and the Ricky Sleeping Dart was out single-handedly winning these team fights we should have no right to win. And it's like, you've just kind of carried a 50-minute team fight because of a 1,400 gold item. Yeah. It seems kind of silly. It's interesting though, I've not seen it in any rank, and I've played like 10 ranked. I've not seen Pos 4 Ricky once. I don't know if it's getting banned.
Interesting.
Or I've not seen it in pubs. Even maybe it's just banned territory.
I'm sure it will be banned, but even then, you'd expect it to get through like in half the games or whatever.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one I wanted to point out. Is there anything else? Anything else on the radar? We mentioned Viper. Is there any other fun stuff?
I've got an unlosable new mid hero.
Oh yeah,
3-0 with the Ogra Magi.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Here we go.
So I've
transitioned from Pos 1.
I've seen it lose, sir.
I've lost it thrice in the
okay. Did you
in the safe lane?
Do you still don't buy Midas?
So the reason I was playing it a lot is I was like, I need to optimize item build,
right?
And
experiment.
Experiment. I think in the safe lane Midas is necessary because the XP gold was just shite, and from the mid I've never got Midas but never needed it, and I've truly stomped from the mid without Midas, Aether Lens, E-Blade, Boots of Travel, and the game just been stomp over, never needed the Midas. But in the safe lane games, a few of the times the laning was rough, and usually the safe lane Ogre should be stronger, and I didn't have great laning. But then coming out of it, it was like, I need a Midas to catch up and to farm and to get XP. And so if I were to safe lane it, and it was a sweaty game, I'd Midas. If I was to safe lane it and it was a as expected game, I would stomp the lane and not need Midas. If I was being somewhat serious, I would only do it mid, and I have done it in unranked and gone mid. CS, great fun. Harass, good fun. Rotation to the side lanes, good fun. It has actually been strong in the mid lane. My question, though, I'm asking myself is it even more optimal for me to get a Midas in the mid lane? Should I, rather than getting... So I think Aether Lens is absolutely core, but then should I get Boots of Travel or Kaya or Midas? Because they're all a 2k item. Oh, no, that's it, 4-staff. Should I get 4-staff, Boots of Travel, or Midas? Should I try and squeeze in the Midas and then get those other items? The jury's still out. I think the next time I go mid, I will force a Midas in and see how it affects the gameplay. Like, am I going to be less aggressive because of this? And is that good or bad? I'm not sure.
So what's the usual build? Aether Lens first with brown boots?
Yeah, that's absolute must. And then typically what I've done is basically played it like Zeus and gone Aether Lens, Boots of Travel, 4-staff, and had the 4-staff as this enabler item where I can initiate a fight because I know I can get out of a 4-staff kind of thing. And then after that, E-Blade, where you've got Kaya into Ghost Scepter. So, yeah, that's definitely Aetherlens first. That's absolute key. Second item, TBD.
What about, so you think you could go Aetherlens Midas?
Perhaps, yeah. The Boots of Travel is great because then you're all around the map. You can join and connect to any fight, which is really strong, and even just MS to move around is nice. With a Midas, obviously, you'd have downtime.
Because he has pitiful range on his spells. Yeah. Pitiful Ignite, or a pitiful Fire Blast range.
Aetherlens is so necessary. I mean, I think 4-staff's necessary most of the time, because it's... If you're playing a serious game that's not one-sided, I think you definitely need it. And then there was a game where I got E-Blade too fast, and I was like, oh, this is a bit naff, maybe I should have just got Octarine rather than E-Blade. But then again, when you got 4-staff E-Blade, your utility is phenomenal. Damage output's there, defensive output is there. So honestly, I'm doing bits from the mid. I know my pos safe lane has lost a few times, and not great, but in the mid, honestly, I've been flying.
Nice. Cool. Did you say 4-0?
3-0 in the mid.
3-0, so not quite my DS level.
What were your matchups, though? Melees? Vipers? Razors?
They were. One of them was Zeus. One of them was Hugner. And one of them was OD. And they lost. The immortal OD lost mid.
Wow. That's...
to the Ogre, my guy. Honestly, it's just another level. You'd think you don't win that lane, but he's actually got strong spells. Good attack animation, decent sustainability.
Big armor.
Yeah, HP regen as well. It's nice. And then obviously I love casting spells. I love hitting creep. I actually don't love hitting creeps. It's just an effective way to win games. I love casting spells. And Ogre, all you're doing is sitting on periphery, waiting for your spell to come up and casting it. It's very engaging.
Interesting. Can it break into the pro scene? How viable does it get? Why would it not work? Like in ranked, what would happen if you tried to play it in ranked?
I'd probably lose the lane.
Right.
More. Probably would struggle to have side lane impact as much, because as a rotator, you're a slow moving hero. If you don't have an Aetherlens, it's hard. You might TP in, but are you in range to cast spells? I feel like it would be quite hard to make that impact. A lot of the time I've done success, the enemy team has been brain dead and is like bashing their head against the wall, trying to fight when they shouldn't be trying to fight, and you catch them out. Whereas if you've got another team which it's just a bit smarter and a bit less loose, and it's harder to catch them with your Fire Blast and Ignite and with your team, I feel like it's easier to get stuff done on other mids if you're all on the same level. But then again, if the game went a bit slower, you'd just go, well, I will Midas and farm a bit more. And honestly, an E-Blade and a 4-staff, and people might think, I've got BKB, so you're useless, but alright, mate, I'll kite you for 9 seconds, and then let's go. So, I don't know. It would be interesting to see it in the ranked. It's not a grief, I'll say that. It's not a grief. I know I like a grief sometimes. I don't think it's a grief. I've had more grief.
You've got more grief, yeah. Got more griefy picks. One question I want to ask, and it's a question that I feel like comes and goes without any of us realising. Why is Tinker suddenly good again? Why is Tinker suddenly like one of the best heroes in Immortal? I don't really understand what's changed. Other than people know that BKB is good, that's like the only thing I've noticed. But suddenly Tinker's in loads of games again, and it's just like crushing. But yet nothing's changed. So I don't know if it's like some weird meta thing, about like heroes that are good happen to be heroes that Tinker's good with or whatever, or like Bounty's good or something. But I've been seeing a bunch of Tinker and a bunch of like Tinkers going for early BKBs, like 25-minute BKBs, and then just like flying into fights like ultra aggressively with like Shiva BKB and just like tanking loads of stuff because they don't care because they've got BKB.
An interesting quick one from the Dota buff best versus for Tinker. It says, and two of the heroes it says it's best versus is Drow and Sniper. I think that's an interesting stat to see because those two heroes are, I feel, pretty rife at the moment. That idea of a backline, a carry, ranged right-clicker carry, to me feels really strong for other reasons. But that's the kind of carry a Tinker probably wants to see, because when it's a in-your-face melee, if they can get on top of Tinker, it's like, game. If it's a backliner, pos one, Tinker's safe from them, and probably can hunt them down better and evade them better. So maybe there's an element of that, tiny bit, I don't know.
And also, like, if you're building BKB early, which seems to be like a thing that's happening more, you don't really care about like going a bit deeper to like try and get on the sniper or like cause some havoc.
Tinker's building BKB earlier.
Yeah, I've seen loads of Tinkers go like really early BKBs and then play like really aggressively with like Shivas. Like fly into a fight like quite happily, just get laser off, get W, get laser off, like bang with like a Shiva on 3 BKB, and then rearm yourself because you BKBs, blink in again like with another Shiva, another laser, then like rearm and maybe blink away at that point. I've been seeing like more, when I see Tinker, I feel like I'm always seeing it with an early BKB now, which is interesting because like back in the day, it's like there's almost this weird mentality of like if you're good at Tinker, you don't need BKB.
You'd always be on the edge.
Yeah, so it's
interesting playstyle.
Yeah. It's sort of like the evolution of Tinker, right? Because that there was a time when everyone was going overwhelming blink Shiva and just going ultra tanky. And then they nerfed overwhelming blink, so you couldn't do that anymore, because it was like based off your strength, so the damage was like kind of bad, and they made it more expensive. So that stopped, and now it's like you go Shiva BKB. It seems you don't have to, but that seems to be the most common thing. Just Shiva blink Shiva BKB, and it's the same idea, but now BKB is over the overwhelming blink. So it's interesting to see. Anyone got anything on the list to try other than building Midas on a mid ogre? Anything tickling anyone's fancy?
Well, one that was fun, I don't know if I'm going to do it again, was the mid lich. Homage to Adam.
Cool.
Of course. That was fun.
I do love a good cold man middle.
Yeah. Another buy villains, buy shard, and
I do miss sacrifice though. Sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's I mean the gaze is way better, but there's just something so wholesome about denying every range creep and saying Lich going to have your mana. But now you don't even go that anymore. Now you just get the W because it's the best spell in the game.
Yeah.
I used to love to max the Q and wreck people in lane as a support with like 5 mangoes, and now it's just like ho hum. I max the W. My carry can't die. It's the right move.
Does mid lich get shard like straight away, or
eighth of shard?
Eighth of shard.
Yeah,
I think lines up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what Adam did when they got rid of sacrifice. That must have been like a blow to your heart, because
now he has a stun, so it's kind of cool.
He has a crazy stun. Like when you get
it's like a hook that you can't miss.
Yeah, late game when it's like AOE and it lasts forever. It's like an RP. It's like ranged RP. It's crazy.
We lost a game solely to Lich.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Every song I would Naga song. And every time the Naga song went in, he would get a 5-man obscuring or a gaze. And we'd all be clumped
there ready to go, and then It seems like it had 0 cast time, and it just caught everyone at once.
Yeah, that was sad. I couldn't even be mad. That was like, that's my boy right there to win the game. That's Lich.
Yeah. I mean, Darkseer was the one I wanted to try, and there was another one that I can't remember.
I will continue to ban Pango every game until it is removed from the game. So that's not really something for me to try. That's something for me to try and like not allow to be into the game so that I can enjoy the game.
Yeah, Pango's a great ban. Arc Warden is my ban. Pango probably would be my second ban. But I actually
from a support perspective,
yeah.
I cannot stand that hero. The Q deals a whole health bar. The W deals half of a health bar, and you're slowed, so you can't get away. He can bop you over and over again with the ult. He burns all of your mana, and or stuns you, and or procs 5 maelstroms on you. So it's just too much to deal with.
I think that game we played, was it a duo or was it just a wider party where we were against a Pango that was just, that turned us over the edge. I remember you bought back and like TP'd in and then just like instantly died to a Q again. And you're like, yeah, this hero is going to be my ban now for the next year. Yeah, seems so. It's Arc Warden that I like despise playing against. The hero's so dumb, it just infuriates me.
He's still only in like 1% of games though.
True, yeah, he's not as popular as Pango, but he's got a really high win rate, and I hate the hero so much because obviously late game we know how annoying it is when he just decides in Fountain and still the strongest hero on the map.
Yeah, and especially since like Magic build is like the only viable build, which is the way more annoying version of the hero to deal with. So
yeah, and like the laning's so good, and he just like pops 6 and you just die, and like even like without 6, just the Q into the E is so annoying, and you just tank. As soon as you stand up to lane, you just tank 1 trillion HP. You can't run away. You just can't do anything. You can't man up. I hate Arc Warden.
It's the Ag, so it like makes another Spark Wraith after the old Spark Wraith goes away, and
yeah, it's very, very, very
overwhelming blinks. It's like you get. That's another, as a support, you're like, oh, I got double Gleipnir, triple Spark Wraith, double Overwhelming Blink. I guess I just don't get to play.
Yeah. Good hero. Great hero. Love Arc Warden.
If I was to play POS 4, a hero I would be tempted to, having seen it dominate in our party stack 2 or 3 times, and then on the enemy team it happened once, but this POS 4 Shaker that gets Octarine Core Shard, and then
I did that. That was quite fun.
And then a blink. Wow, it feels like, or it felt like, the Aether Lens stunning from a gazillion range and always having the mana to spells, and eventually the blink comes, and then the Octarine's reducing CDs. Oh my god, it
the shard is absurd.
Yeah, we know the shard's good, but it did feel like this Aether Lens, for some reason, took it to another level.
Yeah, you just like have a giga-long fissure, but then the shard is like, I can walk along it, and I never have to like worry about missing an aftershock. Like to like, oh, I stun in the fissure, I'm a little bit too far away, so I'll walk forward and W. Is like, nope, I can just sit right on this fissure and W, and I'm going to get the follow-up stun I need.
So what's the build? Aether Lens, Shard, Octarine, Blink?
Probably Aether, Blink, Octarine, but
okay.
End item.
I mean, I think I went Blink and then just opposite order. Blink then Octarine.
At what point do you? Because you do see Shakers get Aether Shard before Blink, so
or maybe you could stay Arcane Boots Blink into Aether,
right?
Yeah,
but I do. I having played a lot of Ogre building these Aether Lens. Aether Lens is a nice item for the mana and the mana regen.
The mana is nice.
That's it. It is.
I mean, Mana Boot. Unironically, Mana Boot's the best item in the game. Like that's.
I love that.
It is. There's no substitute for Mana Boot.
Oh,
on the team. There's Soul Ring is so shit. So it is
Yeah.
And no one buys bottle, so the only viable, besides like a wand, is the mana boot.
I've been doing mana boots on Jakiro in ranked, and when you have the pos 5, your choice is mana boots or tranks. And I feel like there was a time when it used to be, just tranks and ferry your clarities. I don't know if numbers have changed or whatnot, or it's just trends, but boy, I absolutely love having mana boots into Aether Lens, and then
I'm disassembling into Aether Lens, and I'm buying another mana boot.
Another mana boot. Oh, that's
I'm buying another one because it's so good. And I know it's probably wrong. I mean, you can disassemble that one into like a Lotus, or it does go into the Octarine core.
Yeah, Lotus or even Aeon.
Yeah.
So like I do that because it's probably not even that good. I mean, most games you probably aren't going Octarine core on your support, but like the second mana boot, if you have an AM on your team or a PA, you press one mana boot, they go back up to full mana, and you feel like a god. You're just like, oh wow, I saved them like 100 gold in clarities, or like you gave them mana so they'll TP to a fight. It's kind of like this subtle, like, oh look, you do have mana to go do things. Come play.
Yeah,
this reverse psychology type thing.
You know, we played. I don't know if you were in any of these parties, Stan, but we had 2, if not 3, 4-stack games, where then the random 5th was this same person.
Yeah. I was in 2 of them. Yeah,
we were in 2. Schleben.
Legend Schleben.
Legend Schleben. Just gone on his Shaker on his Dota buff. He's on an 11 win streak.
Cool.
Absolutely nailing it. So it looks like what he's doing is Link first.
He's like level 29 Earthshaker, right?
Yeah, he's trying to get to 30. Yeah.
Trying to get to 30. And then we were like, oh yeah, we got him again. He's totally going to pick Earthshaker again. And he did, and then we won. We're like, wow, that guy was really good. We look, he's like Crusader or something. We're like, whoa, he played so above his level.
Yeah, it says he's Archon on Dota buff, and I'm like, this guy's playing way above that level. This guy's such impact. But yeah, it made me really impressed by the Shaker. I do feel like in the past, when you think, it's all about the blink, but without the mana pool and mana regen, your hero's shunted. Like,
Earthshaker gets 2 spells.
Yeah, in the past you'd be like, I've got 1 soaring to use 1 fissure on this small neutral camp, and it'll take me ages to farm, and I can't do anything. But actually, if you've got mana boots and all Aether Lens, it is really good mana sustain, and you can be using spells nearly off cooldown.
What's
and it makes such a difference.
The neutral item that gives mana? An int. The ring. The blue
Arcane ring.
Yeah. I had my Earthshaker game, I had mana boot and Arcane ring, and I was like, I never am out of mana, ever.
Oh, yeah.
Not once.
Yeah.
It felt nice.
One final thing to mention for me then, I do have a hero in the works. I remembered what it was. And it's a bit of a grim one, actually. It's not a fun hero, but...
Oh, no.
It's actually a grief depending on where I play it. So if I play it mid, it's a grief, and if I play it pos 4, it's not a grief. But I've been wanting to get Hoodwink in. Been wanting to get a Squirrel
play
game
pos
in.
3?
Pos 3
I
Squirrel.
I want a ranked with pos 3 Squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
Mega damage when it got Maelstrom.
Yeah, you got Gleipnir, didn't you?
Then it got Gleipnir.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mid thing as well. You go like Gleipnir into, E-Blade, I guess, or like Blink. I guess you don't need Blink, actually. And then you can go Daedalus, right? You get Daedalus for the Q, and you just do like 1 trillion damage from 1 Acorn shot.
Yeah, I hate Acorn shot so much.
Yeah, when they get Daedalus, it's like so dumb. And then obviously you got your ult, which is just like somehow a spell that the hero has as well. That's like unconnected to all the others and doesn't really make any sense, but it does 1 trillion damage. So that's one that's in the works for me. The old Hoodwink.
Have you played it at all?
I've played it. Yeah. I think I played every hero apart from. I think I have played every hero now. Actually, let's go on my heroes and see what's cooking. Because I know that you haven't played all of them, have you?
I've not played 3.
Haven't played 3. It says that I've got 2 unplayed heroes, but I know for a fact that I've played them. So that's a bit weird. So yeah, I don't know. Have I actually? I might not have played Shadow Demon. Can't remember. I might have like 1 game on Shadow Demon or something. Anyway, you hadn't played one of the new heroes for ages. Like hadn't you not played Grimstroke forever?
Still not played Grimstroke. Not played Primal Beast either.
I don't understand because like Grimstroke seems like a Marco takes this mid and does the E-Blade build.
Yeah. With
Spirit and just like rolls it.
I think it's a little bit too gimmicky for Marco. The mids E-Blade Spirit build. I think it's like too much of a one-trick pony because you basically have one thing. Which is you W, E, and E-Blade them and run on top of them and then Q them twice and Dagon them, yeah. So it's like it's not quite dynamic enough. It's just like building one set of items and then just like blowing up heroes. But yeah.
I have one play I want to make happen, but it's very specific.
Okay.
And I haven't had a game. I haven't seen a disruptor on the enemy team in probably weeks. So you're kind of like, I can't do this unless there's an enemy disruptor, but I want to remember when I see an enemy disruptor and then buy branches.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can force yourself out of the kinetic field with the branch. Like that's...
Yeah, I've seen that.
All I've wanted to do, but if you don't ever play against the hero, you can't try it. But if you run up to the edge of the kinetic field and then plant the tree, it pops you out.
Is that hard to do?
I don't think it looks that hard to do.
Okay. Interesting. That's probably why Disruptor's never picked, because you can just do that. Yeah.
Probably have to do it as a core, but it's probably not worth it as a support to keep buying branches, but I don't know.
Yeah. One thing you can do on Darkseid that I learned is definitely have a Quelling Blade with you if you're against a Monkey King, because if you're like randomly walking through trees, your Iron Shell procs, so you like know where the monkey is in the tree, so you just instantly cut the tree. So that's
nice.
That's
big
tip.
Brain.
That's huge brain, yeah. Well, there you go. That's episode 195 of New Meta Podcast. We'll be back probably
in the new year.
We'll be back in the new year. Thanks, Adam. So until then, have a final whistle.